Imagine waking up one day and seeing the world in an entirely new light. That's what happened to Eckhart Tolle at the age of 29. Born in Germany, Tolle is now a renowned spiritual teacher and author, celebrated for his profound insights on mindfulness, presence, and the quest for inner peace. His life transformed dramatically, following a profound spiritual awakening, altering his consciousness, and reshaping his perception of reality. Eckhart Tolle's teachings have since taken him across the globe, leading seminars, workshops, and talks on spirituality and personal transformation. He advocates for living fully in the present moment, shedding the constraints of ego identification, and finding inner tranquility amidst the trials of life. His philosophy is not about escapism, but rather about finding peace in the now, in the midst of our everyday lives. He teaches us to observe ourselves, our thoughts, and our reactions to the world around us, without judgment or criticism. He encourages us to detach from the narratives we weave about our lives, narratives that often cause us unnecessary suffering. Tolle's teachings are not just about understanding our minds, but also about understanding our hearts. He emphasizes the importance of compassion, empathy, and love in our journey towards personal growth and transformation. So, what's the secret behind his transformative teachings? Let's delve into that. Chapter 1. The Power of Consciousness. Ever wondered why you feel stressed, anxious, or sad? Tolle suggests it might be due to the stories we tell ourselves. Eckhart Tolle, renowned spiritual teacher and best-selling author, asserts that the key to overcoming such emotional turmoil lies within our consciousness. A substantial portion of our psychological distress, he believes, is birthed from the narratives we spin about our life situations. It's like we're the directors of our own mental movies, often filled with drama, conflict, and tension, and we're compelled to play them on repeat. Now imagine observing yourself in a situation that typically triggers distress. Recognize the narrative you're crafting in your mind. It's a story, not a reality. By becoming aware of these self-spun tales, we unlock the potential to perceive our situation differently. This shift in perspective can liberate us from the shackles of unnecessary suffering. Tolle encourages us to practice presence, to truly experience the moment without adding any interpretation or thought to it. This might sound simple, but it's a profound exercise. We often realize that our suffering is primarily derived from the narrative in our minds, rather than the external circumstances themselves. He also delves into our habit of blaming people and situations, and the narratives we create about these external factors. Our sense of identity can become so heavily influenced by these stories that we end up with a limited and painful perception of ourselves. But remember, it's just a story. Being overly identified with our thoughts is a common pitfall, Tolle warns. It's like quicksand that hinders the law of attraction. Let go of the stories, be present, and you'll experience a breakthrough that truly recognizes your essence. Tolle also highlights the human tendency to cling to a pain-filled identity and past narrative. This dysfunction, or ego, is a complete identification with the mind and thinking. Some people need extreme suffering or breakdowns to let go of this old identity and step into a new one. So, the key to overcoming suffering, it's all in the mind, or rather in becoming conscious of our minds. Chapter 2. Live in the present. Do you often find yourself dwelling on the past or worrying about the future? Tolle suggests we focus on the present instead. One of the core teachings of Eckhart Tolle is the power of the present moment. He emphasizes that our reality is not shaped by the regrets of the past or the anxieties of the future, but by the present moment. He encourages us to embrace the now, to fully immerse ourselves in the current moment, without adding any interpretation or thought to it. Tolle explains that our minds are often preoccupied with stories, narratives we weave about ourselves and our lives. These stories, he suggests, are the root cause of most of our psychological suffering. They trap us in the past or project us into the future, preventing us from experiencing and appreciating the present. To overcome this, Tolle advises we practice being present. By focusing on the here and now, we realize that much of the suffering we experience is self-inflicted. It stems not from the external circumstances we find ourselves in, but from the self-created narratives in our minds. Tolle also discusses the habit of blaming others or external situations for our problems. He posits that these narratives can heavily influence our sense of identity, leading to a limited and painful perception of ourselves. But it's essential to remember, this is just a story we tell ourselves. It's not who we truly are. Furthermore, Tolle explains that our problems, more often than not, reside in our minds. By giving more attention to the present moment, we can dissolve these problems. The present moment is all we ever have and experience, and by recognizing this, we can find peace and happiness. But how do we live in the present? Tolle suggests starting with mindfulness, observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment, and as we practice this, we gradually let go of our ego identification, freeing ourselves from the narratives that have held us captive. Remember, all we ever have and experience is the present moment. Let's embrace it, live it, and find joy in it. Chapter 3, Breaking Free from the Ego. Are you overly identified with your thoughts? Tolle believes this is a common habit that hinders personal growth. Now let's delve into Tolle's teachings on the ego and the narratives we create about ourselves. Imagine a puppeteer, the ego, pulling the strings of a puppet, which represents our self-perception. The puppeteer manipulates the puppet, making it dance to its tunes, and so does the ego. It orchestrates stories about ourselves, which can limit our perception and cause pain. These stories constructed by our ego become our identity. They color our world, shape our reactions, and ultimately, influence our experiences. However, these stories, no matter how elaborate, are just that, stories. They are not you. Tolle suggests that we often blame people and situations, weaving intricate narratives in our minds about them. These narratives heavily influence our sense of identity, leading to a limited and often painful perception of ourselves. But remember, it's just a story. It's the ego's way of asserting its dominance, of maintaining control. Tolle explains that many of us hold on to our pain identity and past stories for so long because it is deeply ingrained in human consciousness. This dysfunction or ego is a complete identification with the mind and thinking. Sometimes it takes extreme suffering or breakdowns for us to let go of this old identity and step into a new one. It requires a lot of unlearning, a lot of breaking down of old conditioning, to break free from the ego. However, the key to this transformation lies in the present moment. By being present, by letting go of the stories we tell ourselves, we open ourselves to truly recognize our essence and experience a breakthrough. It's not about forgetting the past or ignoring the future, but about experiencing life in its purest form, free from the ego's influence. So, ready to let go of your old identity and step into a new one? The key is to break free from the ego. Chapter 4, The Power of Abundance in the Law of Attraction. Have you ever wondered how your perspective on abundance and scarcity affects your life? Eckhart Tolle, a renowned spiritual teacher, illuminates this concept by emphasizing the power of abundance in the law of attraction. He suggests that the secret sauce to leveraging this law is not by focusing on what we lack or need, but by appreciating the abundance that already exists in our lives. Just pause and think about it for a moment. The air we breathe, the love we share, the beauty we behold in nature, aren't these all forms of abundance that we often take for granted? By shifting our focus from scarcity to these abundant blessings, we can align ourselves with the power of consciousness. This alignment can then act as a magnet, attracting more abundance into our lives effortlessly. But how do we begin to appreciate the abundance that's already present in our lives? Tolle's advice is simple, yet profound. He encourages us to immerse ourselves in the practice of gratitude. By acknowledging and appreciating the abundance of life that surrounds us, we can cultivate a positive mindset. This mindset, in turn, can make us more receptive to the infinite possibilities that life has to offer. However, Tolle warns us not to fall into the trap of giving with a mindset of neediness or in hopes of appearing virtuous. Genuine giving should stem from a place of joy and desire, not from a sense of obligation. When we give wholeheartedly, we are not only creating a ripple effect of kindness, but also aligning ourselves with the law of attraction. As the law suggests, what we give out in the universe comes back to us, often in a form we least expect. In essence, Tolle is inviting us to embrace a paradigm shift, to let go of our scarcity mentality, and to bask in the warmth of abundance. By doing so, we can unlock the full potential of the law of attraction, bringing more joy, love, and prosperity into our lives. Appreciating the abundance of life around us is a powerful step towards aligning with the law of attraction. Chapter 5, Practice Gratitude and True Giving. How can gratitude and acts of kindness influence our lives? As we delve deeper into the wisdom of Eckhart Tolle, we come across the powerful practice of gratitude and genuine acts of kindness. Tolle advises us to make a habit of appreciating the abundance of life that is always around us. This could be as simple as acknowledging the beauty of a blooming flower, the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the laughter of a loved one. One method he suggests is keeping a gratitude journal. By jotting down the things you're grateful for each day, you shift your focus from what's missing in your life to the abundance that's already present. This simple yet transformative act sets the stage for experiencing more positivity and contentment in your day-to-day life. Tolle also places great importance on the power of genuine acts of kindness. He encourages us to give, not because we feel obligated to, nor because we want recognition, but because it feels good to give. It's about giving from a place of joy, of genuine desire. This doesn't mean you need to make grand gestures. A simple smile, a word of encouragement, or lending a listening ear can be acts of kindness that make a world of difference to someone. When we give and express gratitude from a place of fullness, we align ourselves with the law of attraction. This universal law suggests that what we radiate outward is what we attract back into our lives. So when we give kindness, we attract kindness. When we express gratitude for the abundance in our lives, we attract more abundance. Tolle cautions us, however, against giving with a mindset of needing to help or wanting to be seen as a good person. True giving comes from a place of genuine desire and joy. It's about giving because we want to, not because we feel we have to. True giving, deeply imbued with gratitude, amplifies our alignment with the law of attraction. Remember, it's not just about the act of giving, but the intention and emotion behind it. When we give from a place of fullness and joy, we become irresistible magnets for more joy and abundance in our lives. Chapter 6. The Art of Feeling Complete. What if the key to manifesting your desires is to feel as if you already have them? In the words of Eckhart Tolle, the sensation of fullness and completeness is an essential key to manifesting your desires. This sense of completeness is not confined to the mental image of what you want, or the specific manifestation of your desires. Rather, it originates from a deeper place within you, an inherent sense of aliveness that comes from simply knowing and recognizing your own presence. Tolle invites us to delve into this sensation of fullness, to really feel it. It's not about pretending or fooling ourselves into believing we have what we desire. Instead, it's about tapping into an authentic feeling of completeness that resides within us. This feeling goes beyond material possessions or achievements. It's about acknowledging our inherent value and worth, independent of our external circumstances. When we feel complete, we operate from a place of abundance, not scarcity. We stop chasing after desires out of a sense of lack, but instead, we draw them towards us effortlessly because we already feel whole and complete. This shift in perspective can transform not only how we approach the law of attraction, but also how we experience our everyday lives. However, Tolle also acknowledges the reality that not all our desires may manifest. In such instances, it's important to remember that there may be other breakthroughs that are more significant than what our ego perceives as important. This is where the feeling of completeness becomes crucial. Regardless of whether our specific desires manifest or not, if we feel complete, we remain fulfilled and content. The beauty of this approach is that it allows us to transcend the ego, which often operates from a place of neediness or a desire to prove superiority. By feeling complete, we align ourselves with the law of attraction in its purest form, free from the constraints of the ego. Feeling the fullness of your existence can unlock the door to abundant manifestation. This is the art of feeling complete. It's about recognizing and embracing your wholeness, and from that place of fullness, attracting more of what you truly desire into your life. Chapter 7. The Journey, not the Destination. What if the journey is more important than the destination? Picture this. You're on a journey, a grand adventure filled with twists and turns, ups and downs. It's not always easy, but it's meaningful, it's exciting, it's life. Now imagine you're focused so intently on the destination, the end goal, the prize at the end of the race, that you forget to appreciate the journey itself. You miss the beauty in the struggle, the joy in the growth, and the fulfillment in the process. This, my friends, is a trap we often fall into, especially when we're manifesting our desires. Eckhart Tolle, a renowned spiritual teacher, encourages us to shift our perspective. He emphasizes the importance of the journey over the destination. He urges us to value the process more than the end result. Why? Because the journey is where life happens. It's where we grow, learn, and evolve. It's where we experience the richness of life. Tolle warns us about the danger of becoming excessively attached to our desires. He reminds us that our desires are not the be-all and end-all of our existence. They are important, yes, but they are not the essence of life. If we become too attached to them, we risk losing sight of who we truly are and what truly matters. He also highlights the significance of living a full and rich life, irrespective of whether our desired manifestation occurs or not. Life is not just about getting what we want. It's about being who we want to be, doing what we love, and making a difference in the world. It's about finding joy, peace, and fulfillment in the present moment, not just in some distant future when our desires have been fulfilled. In essence, Tolle teaches us to embrace the journey, to find joy in the process, to appreciate the growth, the learning, and the experiences that come with it, to understand that the journey itself is the destination, because in the end it's not about what we get, but who we become in the process. The richness of life lies in the journey, not just in the achieved desires. Chapter 8: 3 Essential Truths for a Fulfilling Life. What are the 3 truths that can transform your life, you might ask? Well, let's delve into Eckhart Tolle's wisdom. Firstly, he invites us to understand that we're more than just individuals. We are manifestations of a universal consciousness. Picture yourself as a unique brushstroke in the grand painting of existence. Secondly, he talks about the possibility of a life without suffering. This isn't about avoiding pain, but rather about embracing the present moment in all its glory and pain. It's radical acceptance, acknowledging the now as it is, not as we wish it to be. Lastly, Tolle defines greatness. It's not about power, wealth, or status. It's about living consciously, embodying consciousness in this lifetime. It's about being awake, aware, and present in every moment. By aligning with unconditioned consciousness, you can change your world experience and impact the world around you. Chapter 9: Key Highlights. So, what have we learned from Eckhart Tolle's teachings? We've discovered that consciousness is key, that our minds are not always our allies, and often the tales we spin about our lives can lead to unnecessary suffering. By observing ourselves in moments of distress, we can begin to recognize these narratives and open the door to a new way of experiencing life. We've also delved into the concept of living in the present moment. Tolle encourages us to strip away our interpretations, our thoughts, and simply exist in the here and now. This, he claims, will help us realize that the suffering we endure is often just a product of our mind's narrative, not our external circumstances. Moreover, we have explored the tendency to blame others and situations, and how our identities can become entwined with the stories we create. Tolle suggests that by releasing these narratives and being truly present, we can experience a profound breakthrough in our lives. We've also learned about the challenge of breaking free from our egos, from the identities built on past pain and experiences. This process is not easy, and for some it may require extreme circumstances to finally let go of the old and embrace the new. Tolle's teachings emphasize the critical importance of the present moment. It's all we have, it's all we ever experience, and by giving it our full attention, we can reduce the power of our problems. We've touched on the power of abundance in the law of attraction, the practice of genuine gratitude, and the art of feeling complete. We've also emphasized the importance of the journey, not just the destination. Lastly, we've explored Tolle's 3 essential truths: the realization of our universal consciousness, the possibility of a life without suffering through acceptance, and the embodiment of consciousness as greatness. Remember, your state of consciousness reflected in your thoughts, actions, and emotions can transform your life and the world around you. If you're ready to embark on a journey of personal transformation, join our community, and don't forget to check out our next video to learn more.